So I want to talk about that white Jesus thing again. Chop out. Be king. Get free or die. Heavy at the head to wear the crown. I got a video for y'all, courtesy of Thoughts Camera Action. I want to give a shout out to this brother because he up here, putting up the facts. You see what I'm saying? He up here putting up the facts. And then he got like a little 6-7 minute video real quick. And I want to break it down, after the video run. But basically, it's going to be showing you how this image has been used to colonialize the world. You see what I'm saying? It's going to show you that. And see, they can't, it's like shocking to them that, a white man can't be originally born in Africa. Because this is what it is. Because you talk about the Nile Valley. I mean, ain't no man from no Nile Valley coming with no, hair and skin that looked like this. He would have had sunburn, to the 1,000th degree. You understand what I'm saying? And it clearly say in y'all book that these are African people, that these is, the Cushites, these is the black people. Ham, Egypt. Mizraim, Egypt. Cush, Sudan, Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? So how could a man that this color be born in the Garden of Eden like Adam and Eve, and it's 1,000 degrees in Ethiopia? That don't even make no sense. And then the people of that area worship or bring reference to the sun. You cannot be in a sun-centered religion. Period. How? If they go outside and it's 65 degrees, they be like, it's too hot. Period. And I don't want to hear nothing. Man, this man right here is a white man. So I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't see color and all that. Okay. But I see clearly that this is a rosy cheek, red haired white man from Georgia. Eastern Georgia. Don't look no different than North America, Georgia. Facts, man. So don't sit up here and try to tell me that, this is God and Jesus and all of this shit. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Now, I got brother Pastor Gino in here on this video I'm going to play. You see what I'm saying? So, again, shout out to Thoughts Camera Action. Brother got good stuff. Go over there and check him out. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel right now. And thumb up this video that we finna play. And so, I'm going to let the video run, but then we going to come back and chop it up. Chop out.
We can talk about a penguin, but here's a simple historical fact. It's a lot more important than speculation about what a penguin would do to children. Here's the reality. The image of a white Jesus has been used to justify enslavement, conquest, colonialism, the genocide of indigenous peoples. There are literally millions of human beings whose lives have been snuffed out by people who conquered under the banner of a white god. That is a far more significant problem than whether a black writer in 2013 suggests somewhat humorously, but perhaps seriously, that we should change Santa to a penguin. No one's going to die because of that iconography. The white Jesus, white God imagery has literally resulted in death. That's something folks ought to deal with.
Bless this statue of our Lord in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Now, I did a video on this one in Nigeria. Man, that shit 300 feet tall. Now, how could the blackest people in the world, so proud to be Nigerian or whatnot, worship a white man? Period. They send them, and when they go, they take a white man from Wisconsin or wherever, and they dress him up as Jesus. So you could take any white man, and he could become Jesus. So they alter every image, Ethiopian image, from the original to this. Period. Serapis. Period. But you got the black of these, they swear they proud and to be black and Nigerian and all of that. But you got this man over there. And then they in African clothes looking like the Egyptians, but they worshiping this man. All right? Character. Look at this now.
This is not Jesus. That's right. You hear what I just said? He ain't Jesus. And he sure ain't Jesus. And don't ever forget another thing. Jesus belongs to Africa as much as he does to Europe and Asia. He was born in that part of the world that touches Africa and Asia and Europe, and Jesus was not a white man like me, nor was he as black as some of you. We don't know what the color of his skin, but it must have been a dark color like the people of his day, because he was a man like them.
Now, I showed y'all that image.
And what they did with the so-called white Jesus was use imagery so people of color can look at the preacher, can look and notice that the preacher in the image resemble. And then make them believe that bowing to Jesus is bowing to the preacher. That's right. That's why you people still bow to the Pope.
Now notice. We ain't bowing to nobody. Period. You see, this is what I was trying to tell this sister. She don't understand that, the black man is God, and I'm gonna have to get into that lecture. I got that lecture wrote on the board up there. I got a board up here where I keep up, you know what I'm saying, with the lectures. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a small lecture or a big lecture. I got a calendar up here really with all the lectures rolled in them. But listen to this and I'm gonna come right back.
We bow to no man.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. If you a black man out there, right, and you bow to this picture to take a sister hand in marriage, maybe you didn't know. But I know I would like to ask the brothers that married a sister, did she make you bow down to this image? Period. Because That's her saying, you know, you got to bow down to the slave master again and come out of all that black stuff you've been talking about. Forget about Dr. Ben, forget about Malcolm, forget about Dr. Clark, forget about Sheikh Anta Diop, forget about, you know, Chancellor Williams, forget about Ashwa Kwesi, forget about all these great teachers that's, you know, done been to the land that the Christians talking about. The Christians never been. You understand what I'm saying? So who would you take the word from? That's like me, we take a brochure, a travel guide, written on paper, and you never been to this place, but you sit up there and read the travel guide or whatnot. Now, I live in this place and done been to this place before. Who you gonna believe, me or the travel guide? And I done been there, seen this place with my own two eyes. Who you gonna take the information from? The Christians gonna take it from the travel guide. You understand what I'm saying? They gonna take it from the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of going to see it for themselves. They're just facts. And that's a shame when it comes, you know, to their culture. Because me, I don't think 1 second about this man, period. I only look at this as, I look at it through scholarly glasses. I don't look at it as this my religion and God and all, because I know this shit fake, period. And if you go there, you're going to see it for yourself. That's why the Christians don't want to go. That's why they don't want to go. That's what the truth is.
What Megyn Kelly said was very simply, quote, Santa is white, end of quote, and so is Jesus. So I think the real issue is, you know, if you want to make a joke about Santa's whiteness, here's a way to do it that would not presume white normalcy or that white is the norm. You could say, for instance, and I would, that if there were Santa, he'd have to be white because no black man could break into millions of homes, even if he was bearing presents, and not be shot by some neighborhood watch captain. That's a way to be funny, but Fox News would never do that because that would presume that they had to admit racial profiling and racism were real. So there's that. I think the real issue is that she made a statement of fact, not for her own opinion, but fact. There's a difference between believing in Santa and believing in Jesus or the Buddha. Buddha did not come from Kansas. Jesus was not born in a manger in central Pennsylvania. He was a man of color, and the fact that we have represented him for centuries, literally as a white man, speaks to the entire history of white supremacy. We can act like it didn't happen. We can make it the punchline of a joke, but the reality is this iconography, Jesus more so than Santa, I agree with Mel here, Jesus more so than Santa is a real problem. There's a reason we've represented these icons as white. It's not a coincidence that we've done that.
Hi, shalom, shalom from Israel. This is all.
So, you know, any white, just like you said, Jesus ain't come from he came from that part of the world where people are African, where people are black. That's Africa. That's Africa. Flip to the back of the Bible. It's Africa. It ain't America. It ain't Europe. It ain't none of them islands or none of that. See, the Christians want to believe that, you know, the American white man is God, period. This is what they doing. And, you know, just like Pastor Gino said, we ain't bowing to that. Sisters, we not doing that. Y'all still thinking, oh, well, my grandmama said this is what we should do. Grandmama lived in 1920, 1940, and we weighed in 2021. We not going through the whole year with no white deities, period. They don't even make, how is a white man born in Africa? See, that shit fucked the Christians up. They can't answer none of them questions. But look at this sister right here. I tell y'all all the time, you know, I don't like Tariq Nasheed. But he said something for a change that made sense. That was fact. He said we the Egyptians, period. Ain't no debating that. Ain't no debating that. We come from Northeast Africa. I'm talking about the diaspora. The people that was born outside of Africa come from Northeast Africa, period. And this sister live in the Nile Valley and she gonna tell you who you is. See, the people that, listen. The Hebrews fled into Egypt because Herod was going to kill all of them. And he went looking for them. No different than when the Romans went and looking for Jesus and all that. They went over there and couldn't find them. Why? Because they just put back on African clothes. And so they said the Assyrians and the Hyksos and, you know, the Hittites and all. Hittites is black. They say we just going to invade all this. You know what I'm saying? We can't find the Hebrews. They must have joined sides back with their brothers. Them black people or whatnot. And so they started to invade. We reposted, you know, and won it back over. They won it with then we won it back. You see what I'm saying? And it went back and forth for a little bit. Then we totally won it back, you know, with the 18th dynasty or whatnot. And that's when Dr. Clark be saying that was our last walk in the sun. And so those Africans that was living in the Nile Valley fled into South, Central, and West Africa. And when the slave ships pulled up, those are the people that were took because they had no rights to the land. They had no culture that was similar to the ones that was in West Africa and in South Africa. Listen, man, the Zulus from South Africa, the Akans from West Africa, the, you know, Bakatwa in Central Africa, all the Africans used to live in the Nile Valley. All those 42 major tribes come from the Nile Valley. And then some of those tribes are hunter-gatherer tribes. Some of those tribes are nomadic, like the Fulani. Some of those tribes are agricultural type tribes where they grow food. Them they specialty. And they, you know, used to go get everything for the Egyptian kings and queens or whatnot. And then they was like, well, instead of living up under them and we already up under threat from the outsiders taking over the Nile Valley, well, we might as well go and make our own kingdom. Then that's when you start seeing the Zulu kingdom. You see what I'm saying? That's when you start seeing the Akan kingdom. That's when you start seeing, you know, the Igbos and, you know, these different tribes. They ventured off and made their own kingdom, and you can see it in Africa today. Each area got its own king for that region, and it's been like that since day one, period. But they went out and established other fertile lands, plus the Egypt was becoming a desert. Then you got these peoples invading, and we having to fight all the time. So some of the Africans was like, look, we gonna go establish our own kingdom. And so 3,000 years later, they finally take it. The Tamahus and the Tamhus and the Munzungus or whatnot finally take the Nile Valley, Egypt. And they tried to take Ethiopia, but the Kandaki queens was there to push back Alexander. And so they never reached the interior of Africa until like it might have been the 1800s when they finally reached the interior of Africa. And so those people they got sold over into the West. How did the Africans in the West create hip hop if we were just some slaves? How did Africans in the West had no medicines with the herbs already? How did they know how to build already? The Europeans didn't have no skills. All them Europeans that started America came from the jailhouse to the boat to rape, robbing, and stealing all over the world. Period. They were criminals. Every last one of them. George Washington and all that. They got sent over here from the Queen of England. They got banished from their land. And so this sister right here gonna tell y'all what I'm saying. Jump out.
The daughter to Jethro, and I just heard that you black people that was stolen from Africa to America, that you don't know who you are. But you are the children of Yahweh, the children of Israel. And I'm telling you, you have to come back to your homeland, here to Zion, to Jerusalem. You're the one that was chosen by Yahweh to live in this land, not the Jewish people, it's you. You were stolen from Africa, they deceived you, they told you that you are slaves, but you actually the children of Israel. And it's time just to come back.
Segregation, whites and blacks, minorities, from black Jews to light Jews to dark Jews.
Black Jews, black Jews, black Jews.
Yes.
So it's not just blacks, it's anti-Semitism he expresses, but he's Jewish.
Conversion. Personally, I like to think that the same people who think Chuck Norris is a great actor think Obama's the Antichrist. That's hilarious to me. But keep in mind, according to the book of Revelation, John saw Jesus and described him as having hair like wool and feet the color of burned brass. Yeah, he's a brother. It's going to be very awkward for the rapture folk when Jesus comes back and winds up being a homeless liberal black guy who speaks zero English.
بدانید اینا دروغ میگن، اما بدانید اینا دروغ میگن. اینا یهودی نیستن، بلکه یک مشت جنایتکار فاسدن.
Pope John Paul II, he died in 2005. This is the man in his own life. He's looking at the black Miriam and black Yehoshua. See in the picture, black Yehoshua? See black Miriam? He is worshipping that woman. He is worshipping this baby. Yet these same people in the 15th century, they decided to eradicate all the black paintings that were before hand painted of the mother and the son and remove them with white paintings. And you were deceived to believing that Yehoshua is a white man. Yehoshua is not a white man. This is the biggest deception that was folded upon the world. And you all bought it hook, line, and sinker. At least majority of you did. But today, that deception will no longer remain. Today, that deception will no longer...
That deception can no longer remain. It can't. You can't sit up here and lie and we see that you worshiping your enemy. Period. That's a lie. And y'all fell into that deception, like you said, hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Y'all got to come up and grow up, and get you some scholarship, because we way up here in 2021 on some futuristic shit, and you over here still worshiping, the fake images and shit. And this is them in Israel telling you that they fake. That lady that was just talking was in Israel, say these people's over here that lied to y'all. And if you go over there, that's what they gonna tell you. They gonna be you sitting up there asking for all this, grandeur or whatnot. And them people, them guys and shit gonna be looking at y'all like y'all some goofies and some spooks or whatnot. They gonna be like, what is you talking about? Like, again, they done prop that shit up, especially the black preachers, to be something that is really not. And if you go over there to the place that we talking about, you will see that. Easily. But then you go to your ancestor stuff, and I showed y'all that scripture where it say, y'all better not be worshiping the gods of y'all forefathers, y'all gotta worship me. But then, none of they stuff there that we was looking for, the people that were there looking at us like, what is y'all talking about? That shit don't exist. They like, what? And so then you go on the other side, everything is there that you're looking for. Because you can touch and walk where the ancestors walked. But they can't tell you nothing. Man, listen here. Our people done been tricked, period, to worship the slave master, once he taught you that Jesus was white, it was a wrap. And it's still people in 2021 that believe that. That's very sad. And it's telling you it's the garden is in Egypt. The garden is in Ethiopia. Man, y'all niggas is crazy, boy. See, and guess what the African Americans done? They done turned around and tried to say that the Garden of Eden is America, the Wakanda is America, Egypt is really America. You see what I'm saying? They done tried to take the history of Africa and bring it to America. So for one, that'll give them a reason to stay. And so they won't have to go walk where, you know, they so-called God walk, because they God didn't really walk over there. Jesus was really born in America. Y'all believe it or not, this is what they out here saying, bro. This is what they out here saying. Ethiopia is really America. And what else? Atlantis is America and all this shit. They'll say anything. They'll even separate from the land of their father, they so-called God, just because it's Africa. You understand what I'm saying? This is what they're doing. People will gravitate toward that shit because they'll rather be, you know, a so-called American, a fake American, instead of an African. When your God clearly is an African. Stop saying amen after your prayers. That's the God of the South. All right? All right? Black is night. Black is night. And as you see, Jesus, if he was black. Because that other image y'all showing is a fantasy. It's a fantasy. So, now that that's why I was telling that sister the other day, we not bowing to that image. Period. 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 Ain't nothing in the world. I don't care, it could be the most beautifulest woman in the world. She not gonna lure me into that trap to believe that the white people are the divine people of the earth and black people ain't shit, especially the black man. That's what you saying when you bow down to that image. You saying, as a black man, I ain't nothing compared to these white people. That's what you saying. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. See, when I teach this type of information, it's like, you know, going backwards for me. Because I've been so far past this information. This is like 10 years ago for me. And so I'll walk back through the valley just so I can give y'all this information. But Negro, I'm so past this. If y'all don't wake up, if the stipulations is for you to bow as a black man, to bow to their white image, you might as well be like Big Papa. Be a player for life. Big baby. Chop out. Be king. Get free or die. Heavy is the head to wear the crown.